Hello my stitchy friends, this is Natalie, and in this video you learn how to stitch those lilacs using just simple embroidery stitches. This is a beginner friendly pattern I created for my stitching club on Patreon and Substack in June 2024. I love making new embroidery patterns for my lovely stitching community. You can join my stitching club anytime and get access to this pattern and instructions. It's going to be always available there along with other embroidery patterns from the previous months. And if you want to get this pattern separately, I listed it on my Etsy shop. Check the link in the video description for more information and enjoy my video tutorial. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe and hit the bell. This is a beginner-friendly embroidery pattern. I really like how it turns out. I tried different fabric colors. I wanted to stitch on something colorful, and yeah, I even tested the fabric. I did a little embroidery on the corner, and right here I tried blue colors, and I also did the same on the yellow fabric because I was considering maybe I will be stitching on yellow or something, but eventually, yeah, you know me, I like pink colors, so I tried pink and it's turning out really nice. So in this video I'm gonna be stitching different stitches from this pattern. I will be showing you how to stitch them. I want to encourage you to try hand embroidery, and this is how cute it turns out. And yeah, and just simple stitches. So here we have lazy daisies, and I change colors, so that's why it looks like three-dimensional. And here we have a little darker color, and for the French knots it's a little buds, and I used a darker color, and I use all 6 strands of floss basically, which makes it also simple to perform. You don't need to separate threads and stuff like that. So yeah, how do you like it? Today we will stitch those little flowers. I will show you lazy daisies, and then we will go to the stitch all the buds with French knots, and I will show you how to stitch this leaf and the stems. And that's it, what you need to know to embroider this pattern. So what you will need embroidery hoop. As you can see, it's better to bind the inside part of the hoop so your fabric will sit tight. I didn't have a chance to do so, but I highly recommend you to do so. So your fabric should be drawn tight in the hoop, and also you will need some scissors, embroidery needle. You will need a big embroidery needle with a big eye and sharp point, so you will be able to thread all 6 strands in this needle. And the full set of embroidery thread colors and stitching guide, I will make illustrations, and all the rest instructions I will provide on Patreon and Substack. And later this pattern will appear on my Etsy shop, and all the links to my favorite materials and hoop stands and everything I use there is in my profile. I will also provide links in my PDF pattern, of course. I'm gonna be stitching those flowers right now, and I'm gonna use this color. You can use a lighter shade if you want. You can put your threads on your fabric so you can see how it's gonna look. I was thinking that this color will stand out better, but if you have white fabric, this one will also look nice. It can be hard to thread your needle. You can press your fabric between your fingers like this. I also like to lick my threads and then you just slowly open your fingers and push your needle this way. This way you can thread it, or you can use some needle threaders. And it's a beginner pattern, so I'm gonna be making knots this way. It's okay if you have some knots on the back side. It depends on what you are going to do with your embroidery. Sometimes you don't want to have knots because it's embroidery on your clothing, so better to choose another way to start the thread. So for the lazy daisies, I came up in the center, so I'm going to stitch this petal, and I come down in the same place. Be careful so you don't go through your knot on the back side with your needle. And you need to make a loop like this. And I came up right here. I go through this loop. And I don't make it too tight because I want to this petal to be loose a little bit, and I want it to have a rounded shape. So and now I put my needle outside of the loop right here, and this will fix this loop in place, and this is your first petal. So let's make one more petal. So you come up and come down in the same place. Make a loop. When you keep your hoop in your hands, it can be done a little bit differently. Like right now, I don't have to keep my hoop with my hands, it's in my hoop stand, but you can turn your hoop in different directions when you keep it in your hands, so it's gonna be more comfortable for you, and you can do another way. Let me finish this flower and I will show you how I would stitch it when I keep my hoop in my hands. So I would do this way, and you can wrap your needle with the thread this way, and then you take it and pull it, and you have a loop. So this way it can be more comfortable for you. And of course you can turn your hoop into different directions. So and yeah, it can be also not very comfortable to put all the stitches in one place, and especially if you have a knot over there. So with your left hand, help yourself on the back side, and if your needle goes through your knot, and it can be really tight, so better take out and try it one more time in a different way. And yeah, that's it. So let's stitch one flower with the hoop in my hands, how it looks. So I want to stitch this one so I can turn it. So I stitch forward like this way all the time. So, and I'm sewing, I'm going down and going up at the same time, right this way. And I keep my thread using my finger over here, so it's comfortable. It's better to use a small hoop like this one, or even smaller if you want. And so you will reach the thread and keep it with your finger. It's gonna be close to you. So now I will be stitching this petal, and I'm turning my hoop this way. Now I keep my thread using my left hand. I'm stabbing and I let it go. Join it and keep my thread using my finger, going to this direction, like from you forward. It's very comfortable to keep my hoop in my hands when I'm stitching. But for the video tutorial, yeah, I prefer to use my hoop stand. That's why I use it. I just wanted to show you how it's working when it's in your hand. So just continue this way, and it's very meditating when you are doing the same stitches over and over. Sometimes your fabric becomes loose in the hoop, so you need to stop sometimes and make it drawn tight again. So you need to keep an eye on it, because when your fabric becomes loose, you may have wrinkles on your fabric. When you're stitching, you can tighten it too much and wrinkle your fabric, and it's not gonna look nice. I don't recommend to stitch without a hoop at all, because it's gonna be a lot of wrinkles. Let me show you how to finish your threads. So you need to switch to the back side. I will probably better to take out the hoop from my hoop stand, and I usually make a little loop right here. I go under my under my existing stitches, I make a loop and I go through this loop, and it creates a little knot like this. And now I like to hide my end of the thread. I go under a few stitches, like about 1 centimeter long, this way, and now I can cut it really close. And this way your stitch is secured and it looks much nicer on the back side. I cannot say that it looks really neat on the back side because I use all 6 strands of floss. It looks a little bit chunky, but it's a beginner pattern and this is how it should be. That's okay. Later, when you have more experience with embroidery, you perform more delicate embroidery designs, and you will learn more ways how to start and finish your thread without knots if you want to keep your backside really neat. Right now I'm making my fabric tight. I screw the hoop one more time. Now it's drawn tight and I can continue. Okay, let's do some fridge knot over here. And to finish this flower, I do French knots, yellow French knots in the center of the flower. But you can skip this if you want to keep it like this way. I know it can look even more natural this way. I'm not sure about this French knots, but I know it was fun to do, and I really like how it looks. You can choose not so bright color probably, so it's not gonna be like taking attention from everything else. Yeah, if you want to observe the lilac flowers, you can take a look on the photos and see how it looks in the real life, so you can decide to do those or not. So okay, so for the French knots, I wanted to make my little buds volumetric and big, so I used all 6 strands. I made this branch with this color and this branch with this color. You know, lilacs can be different colors, so I will probably do this dark for this branch and this color for this branch. So, but you can use only one color for all the branches if you want. So you can choose thread colors depending on which kind of lilacs you want to make. They can be blue, they can be purple. So you come up with your thread and you need to put your needle right here after your thread next to you, and your needle is here, and you start wrapping. I like to wrap 2 times, and then you put your needle close to the place where you came up, but not in the same place. It's better to not go to the same place. And I keep my thread using my left hand, and I go through this wrapping through and to the back side, and I keep my thread until the very end, and then I let it go, and now you have a beautiful French knot. You can do wrapping 1 time or 2 times. For this all 6 strands of loss, it's gonna look different way. You can see right now I did only 1 time wrap, and this how smaller the French knot looks like. So you can vary it. You can do bigger and smaller buds. I know that many of you are struggling with French knots sometimes, and I have a really nice video tutorial on my YouTube channel, and I show different mistakes that people do, and you can take a look if you have different problems with French knots and maybe see what you did wrong. And in this video I explain how you can fix it and how you can do it right. So if you don't like French knots because they always came up wrong, don't worry, you just did it a little bit different way. So just watch my video tutorial and you will figure out everything. And don't rush yourself. Do it slowly, take your time. And it's very comfortable when you have a hoop stand, which can keep your hoop, and you have both hands free for the French knots, especially if you need to do a lot of French knots for a project. It's very handy. I really like how lilacs smell, and they already finished blooming. So there's no lilacs anymore, but stitching this pattern it can remind me how wonderful they smell usually. The next my favorite flower after lilacs is peonies. I like how they smell. Unfortunately, they also bloom really fast, and yeah, I had a chance to buy some peonies and take it home. They smell really good. A few more French notes and I will finish this thread, and we will switch to the leaf. Okay, let's finish the thread. So I made a loop and it created a little knot, and I'm wrapping my threads a few times. For the leaves, I have 3 shades of green to consider. I'm not sure about the lightest one. Yeah, I will be using those 2 colors. One half of the leaf is going to be lighter and one half of the leaf is going to be darker. So it will create some kind of a dimension, and the entire composition will look more realistic. So let's try it. That's a new skein of gloss. You can use all 6 strands if you want. Oops. Or you can use just 3 strands of gloss. Let's try 6 strands to be consistent with everything else. And it's maybe gonna be easier for beginners to stitch this way. But if you want to make it smoother, you can use 3 strands if you want. Okay, let's stitch this one. And it's gonna be a satin stitch. And for satin stitch, the main thing that you need to know is you need to follow the right stitches direction. So I will draw, I have it in my PDF pattern, all those stitch directions, so you can transfer your pattern with those. Right now I'm drawing right on my fabric, so you can see how this leaf shape, it has a little bit curved shape, and your stitches direction is changing depending on this shape. And if you will follow this way, you will be able to create a really nice leaf, naturally looking leaf. So let's stitch the top part with the lighter thread, and the bottom part is going to be with the darker thread. I like to start right here from the top of the leaf. I make the first stitch, and then the next stitch is gonna be a little bit down but close to your previous one. This way. So there is no gap between your stitches. See, it looks really nice actually. Even with all 6 strands. If you have some variated threads, you can use those. and it's gonna look even more beautiful. Especially if you have threads where the color is slowly transitioning from light to dark. That's it. Let's finish this thread later. I'll park it here and I will switch to the darker color. And for this half of leaf, I will also draw some directions. And yeah, with the green colors on this fabric, all the composition looks really nice. It's much more balanced and full. I can't wait to see this whole composition finished. I will definitely share it in my stories and in my posts, so stay updated. And look how beautiful this leaf looks like when you use shadows and light. And it's so simple. Just a basic stitch. And it's easy to perform. If you want to stitch it on your clothing, feel free to change the size of the pattern. When you're printing, you can change the size and make it smaller if you need, and you can embroider a little lilac bouquet for your pocket or something else and wear it. Maybe you have a shirt or blouse. See, when you go into the same direction, all your stitches, they are smooth and flat and really nice. Sometimes your thread is twisted and you need to keep an eye on it and untwist it, like simply turn your needle into the direction you need to unwind your thread. Or sometimes you need to take the needle off your thread, let it hang to the down to unwind, and then you can thread it again. So you will untwist it, and you can also use your needle as a laying tool. I can show you later, probably in my next video tutorials. And so your stitches will lay flat. I give a lot of recommendation in my PDF pattern regarding the satin stitch, French knots, and I also will give links to all the tutorials related to those stitches. In addition, you will have links to different video tutorials to watch to learn it deeper, how to make your stitches look perfect. But anyways, the main thing is to enjoy the process, right? So just enjoy the process, find some nice spot outside and relax doing some stitching. I like to listen the birds outside and embroider. I also like drawing. So satin stitch is very comfortable stitch to finish your thread and hide the ends. So I made a little knot with a loop on the back side, and now I'm just hiding my threads under my existing threads this way. So I can cut it really close. Let's finish this thread as well. If you like camping, definitely take some embroidery with you and enjoy a beautiful weather in the evening. I like watching the sunset while my husband is fishing, and I take my embroidery with me or some drawing, so we are having a nice time in the nature. So the last thing that you need to learn is to do the stem stitch for the stems. The part of this stem is green, and another part of the stem is brown. It's on the bottom, so you will just need to switch your thread and continue stitching the line. Okay, we have some comment. Grandma Shayla says that I have embroidered for years, but you have shared some tips I never knew. Thank you, your work is excellent. You're welcome. I wonder which tips you didn't know. Let me know. Yeah, I'm embroidering for 6 years, and I really like doing it, and I constantly looking for some tips online to share with you guys and maybe give you some more information and make your embroidery process easier. So yeah, and most of the tips probably I learned from my experience, because I was looking for some solutions, how to make things easier and stuff. And I like to share my skills with you guys. It's gonna be whipped back stitch. I like to use whipped back stitch for the stems, but if you want, you can use a stem stitch if you know it. And the Eastern thing that you have to know, you need to plan a little bit how you will go. So I will start from here, and I will do back stitch to this point, and then I will be wrapping it, so I will be going back and start from here another line. Okay, let's do it. You can use all 6 strands or 3 strands. Let's try 6 strands, because I want to make those lines a little bit bulky, stronger. So just back stitch, simple stitch, you probably know it. And I come up right here and start wrapping my threads this way into one direction, which is comfortable for you. I go under my stitches between the fabric and threads. I don't touch my fabric at all. So we have a nice bulk line right here. It's looks nice. And we can start another one from the same place. Yeah, be careful. Sometimes you can just go through your already made stitches from here, you know, see? So you can help yourself with the finger, just push it to the front, and this is the way you can go with your needle without touching any other stitches. If 6 strands is too much for you, you don't like it, feel free to use 3 strands. That's fine. And this is how you can do the stems. You can add the French knots in the center, like yellow ones, like I did here, or you can skip it if you don't like it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm waiting for your lovely comments and likes. Don't forget to subscribe and maybe consider joining my stitching club. If you didn't join yet, just visit my Patreon and Substack and read my free educational articles and explore all the projects I have for you there. Check out some other videos on my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!